Hey fam, what's up? Welcome to a new episode of the Busy Life podcast. First of all, thank you so much to everybody who's been a listener for this podcast. Watching this podcast grow is truly one of the most valuable things to me. I've learned so much about myself. I love learning about you guys, all my listeners, and being able to show up here with you guys, have new episodes come out every Friday. Watching you guys give all this podcast the love, podcast all the love is just, it's so heartwarming. So thank you so much. I want to make sure I always start by saying thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking your time to be here. And honestly, kudos to you for showing up, for listening to something that's going to fill your day with more joy, education, enlightenment, whatever it is that you need. Thank you for being here, and kudos to you for taking that step towards a better future. Today's episode is something that every single person in life goes through. And we are going to talk about what happens when life doesn't go as planned. It is as simple as that. What are you going to do when things don't go as planned? And I have plenty of examples for you guys. So what I want to do is I want to go through a lot of things that have happened recently in my life, specifically last year. And I'm just going to go through with you guys how they went for me, what I did. And then I have found, I think, about 4 things that we're going to discuss that not only do I use, but that a lot of different researchers use as well, that prove that you can maintain your mental health, your mental well-being, and your sanity when life doesn't go as planned. So let's just start off by reminding everybody here that you guys are doing a damn good job. Okay? I think before we even get into my shit show stories, I want to talk to you for a second, like directly to you. You're doing a good job. Okay? I don't know how badly you needed to hear that, but I just had a feeling that you did. And I really think that you need to look in the mirror and tell yourself, "Hey, good job." Okay? We're not perfect yet. We are nowhere near perfect, actually, and we never will be perfect. But we may not be where we want to be yet. We may not have achieved our goals yet, but you're doing the work. Listening to this podcast is work too. This is you taking the time to better yourself and recognizing that life doesn't always go as planned. So that's a huge step too, because you might be thinking, "Oh, but I'm not like I'm not listening to the all the podcasts though, or I'm not tracking my food, or I'm not applying for the jobs, or I'm not reaching out to the friend, or I'm not doing that." Okay, instead of focusing on all of that, what have you been doing though? Because I'm sure you've been doing a lot, and you have not been told, "You know what? Good job." We live in a world that really like gives a lot of credit to the overworking people, the overworking moms, the overworking employees, the people who have full-time jobs and part-time jobs and side hustles and coach and do this and do that. Like, no thanks. No thanks. That's part of why I have this podcast, and literally why it's titled the Busy Life Podcast, because I know we all are busy and we all have things that go on in our lives, but we should never, ever be too busy to take care of ourselves. And part of taking care of yourself is recognizing that you are doing a good job, and you do not have to be checking off 100 boxes just because Joe Schmo on Instagram is doing that, or this girl is doing that, or this person's doing that, or they're doing that. It does not matter what everybody else is doing. So please take a moment to just be proud of yourself. And I want you to hear some crazy things that have happened in my life recently that I've just had to use this motto. I have had to just take a deep breath and let it go and move on. The first thing is I literally came home today And I was like, I'm so excited. I just recorded a new episode with one of my dear friends. I don't want to say who it is yet because I want to advertise it when it comes out, but I was going to just edit it a little bit, tweak it a bit, put it online, whatever. Woohoo, it's Friday, and here is the new episode. Wrong-o. We recorded it on Zoom. And if you don't save the file after 3 days, poof, it's gone. What? So there goes a 50-minute interview that I did with a friend of mine that we've been waiting a month to record. I only did it last week, and I was like, amazing. This one's so good. I'm literally going to knock it out of the park before I do any other episodes. I want this one to be next week's episode. It's gone. It's gone. I have not reached out to Zoom yet. I have not reached out to the support center yet. So please tell me that they're going to be able to fix it. Because, wow, I'm annoyed. I'm angry. I'm disappointed. And I texted that friend and I was like, you will not believe what just happened. I went to upload our file and edit it and, play around with it and add the intro and the outro. Can't do it. And I knew that Zoom did this. I did. And for some reason in my head, I was like, oh, perfect. I've got plenty of time. Nope. It's gone. So I don't know what to do because I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I don't have enough time. I have to record another episode and it's fine. Like I can do that. But now how is she going to even want to do this episode with me again? I mean, oh my God, I feel like an idiot. She's going to be like, oh, I'm never doing an episode with her. She's not prepared. She can't even check Zoom. I'm going through all the crap in my head. And that's not the case. She's a dear, dear friend of mine. We've been connected for like 8+ years, so it's fine. But oh my God, does that make me mad? Because that did not go as planned at all. Have you ever had that happen where like you went to write a paper and you're writing it in Word? Because first of all, who writes in Word nowadays anymore? Don't we all use Google Docs? Like, what? No, thank you, Word. And then you exit out. You're like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I finished that essay. I finished that BCR, ECR. Did you guys ever have to write those? Because that was a bitch to write. And it's gone. And you have to start over from scratch. But it's already midnight and this homework is due tomorrow morning. Ugh. That's what this felt like. This felt like when I already did my homework. Not that this podcast feels like homework. It actually makes my entire night every time I record. I love recording. However, I thought I did it. I was like, awesome. It's like doing your workout. Like I don't always have the motivation to do my workouts, but I do them. And when I get it done, that's awesome. This is like saying your workout didn't save. Your essay didn't save. Your big assignment, your application, none of it saved. And whoops, you have to start over. So that's the first thing that happened. And that one happened today. The other ones are just stories. This one also happened today. I'm going to share 3 things with you. This one also happened today. I get to work today and I'm like, all right, you know what? At this point in time, it is the middle to end of March. We've got spring break next week. And I'm like, I'm so excited. Guys, I'm so ready for spring break. The weather is getting nicer. Seasonal depression is out the door. I mean, this is amazing. It's sunny weather right now. I've got a trip planned and I'm so excited. Good things are happening, right? I feel like my students heard that and they were just like, yeah, right. Let's find a way to make Mrs. Hobbs go crazy. And they did. They were hitting each other. They were biting. They were throwing food. They were playing in the toilets. They were showing their parts. I mean, they were doing all the things. All these kids were doing all the things. And it just felt like it was all day. It was like, let's find a way to make Mrs. Hobbs go crazy. So there's that. The other thing is it reminds me of my honeymoon. And the reason I bring that up is because Ryan and I are doing like a little redo honeymoon. And if you listened to my wedding episode, you will hear about, first of all, how amazing my wedding was, but you will also hear about how shitty my honeymoon was. I'll give you a little recap. So Ryan and I went to Jamaica. Not that there is anything wrong with Jamaica, but it just wasn't the right trip. We, first of all, from where I live, Jamaica should only be a 3-hour flight. It was not. It was 3 hours to the first stop and then another 3 hours to Jamaica. So, like, what happened? Why are we doing that? Then when I got there, I'm immediately sick. Like, I feel like I'm going to faint. And Ryan says I'm like turning gray and I don't look good. And I was like, yeah, I don't feel good. I feel dehydrated and I feel sick. Like, what I really want in that moment is I just wanted to go to bed. Like, I wanted to be in my bed at home, and I wasn't. I was in another country, and you should be, you would be thinking like, but Julie, you're in Jamaica. Like, go on the beach and relax. Well, that stuff is not fun when you're sick. And coming from somebody who wishes that she lived right by a beach, that's not what you want when you don't feel good. You want to be in your own bed. You want everybody there to like help you feel better. You want all the things. So meanwhile, I'm like, it's okay. I just need some water. I need a snack, like maybe like some Advil. Like I just need a minute and then I will be good. Like I'll shake this tomorrow. I'll feel better. It's fine. It was not fine. We're waiting just for somebody to bring me a snack and water. Like I was like, I don't care. It can be a bag of chips. It can be crackers. It can be an apple. Like I don't care. I need some food. I realized I hadn't eaten in a while. I hadn't drank any water in a while. So here I am dehydrated. It's hot. I'm stressed. I'm tired. I just had my wedding the other day. So I'm on this big high, but I'm also exhausted because on top of that too, I'm all kinds of exhausted, like all kinds of exhausted. Oh, because you know what else even happened? I found out now that my dog has pneumonia back at my house. I even had to cancel my trip for one day and bump it back a day because my dog has pneumonia. So guess what? All of these things are going through my head and I can't do a damn thing about them except for wait for somebody at this airport to give me some water and a snack. And now I'm getting hangry because I feel like I just want to lay down and I don't know what's going on. And it takes this woman 20 freaking minutes to find me some water. Like, are you kidding me? 20 minutes, lady. I just need water and I just need a snack. But now she shows up. She finally shows up. Okay. She's got some water. She gets me some food. I'm like looking a little bit better. Ryan said my color was coming back. He was like, okay, like you're right. You were dehydrated. I was like, yeah, I know my body. I have pretty normal blood pressure, but she drops. And this is not the first time that's happened to me where I get low blood pressure because I get dehydrated really fast. So here I am just like thinking to myself, like, oh, I just want to like lay in bed. I just want to get to the resort. I want to start this honeymoon. This is not fun. This is not fun for me. The story gets worse, guys. It gets worse. So I'm not feeling good. And they bring a little wheelchair because they're like, oh, you have to go to like the nurse. I was like, why? I just want to go home. Like, I just want to get to the resort. So they take me to the little nurse area because now they're worried. Like, oh my God, this American, like she's not doing well. I was like, is this like worse than I think? Like, what's going on? And I tell him, like, yeah, like my throat hurts. Like I almost passed out. Like I just don't feel good, but I just want to go to my resort and I want to lay down. Well, now they're freaking out because they're like, oh my God, she might have strep. And I'm like, oh, that's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, a couple antibiotics. Like in America, we just, like, I can be on antibiotics for a couple of days and like, I'm fine. No, I don't know what this particular lady was concerned about, but she treated strep like the way we treated COVID when it first hit. Like, oh my God, she can't be in line. She has to cut the line. She has to do this. She has to do that. And now I'm freaking out because I'm like, what do they think I have? Like, what is going on? And again, I'm telling you, I knew what I needed. I just needed to lay down. I just wanted to be at my resort. So after a long ass airport extravaganza, I now find out that it's 3 hours. 3 more hours to my freaking resort. 3 more hours on a bus with no AC. I still don't have any food and I'm cranky as hell. So I even got the driver to give me some peanuts because I was just hungry and tired and cranky, and now I'm running out of water. Again, he doesn't have any water. So finally, now I have to pee, of course, because it's been a while. He pulls over in this creepy little like store that should be cute, but it wasn't because the people there were just giving off these really strange vibes. And I was like, hi, like I just need a snack and I need some water. And so I grabbed those, and now they're trying to sell me weed brownies. I'm like, I just want food, I want water, and I want to lay down. I haven't even hit the resort yet, guys. We get to the resort and my throat is now killing me. My throat is so painful, and I keep telling them, I think I have strep. I really think I have strep. I've had strep before. I'm a teacher. This is what it feels like. So now I have to go to the nurse, and I have to go to the nurse at the resort because the airport called the resort and said, yeah, we've got a sick American coming. I'm like, oh, thanks. Thank you for labeling me. Thank you for making this seem like I'm some like super, super, super contagious patient when I really just want some medicine and I just want to lay down. It was so annoying. And I get there, and again, she's like, oh, I can't help you. I'm like, oh my God, nobody can help me. What's the big idea? Why can't anybody help me? She says that you have to go to the hospital. The first night of my honeymoon, I have to go to the Jamaican hospital? Mm-hmm. So now we're going to the hospital, and I said, I just want to see if I have strep. My throat is really sore, and I'm not sure if it's a cold, if it's COVID, if it's strep. I don't know. I just know that I don't feel good and I need some medicine. And nobody has anything that they can give me. There's no snacks, there's no water, there's no medicine. Like what is going on? Now I just want to go home. I'm so angry. Our first day has turned from like maybe what could have been just like a 6 out of 10 to like a negative 50 out of 10. I'm angry, I'm tired, I'm cranky, and I just want to go home. After being at the hospital, they're doing all the tests. They're like, yes, I'm so sorry. Like, it's just a virus. It's not strep. It's not COVID. It's just a virus. You got to just ride it out. Here's some Dayquil. You're going to be okay. Here's some water. Rest it out. How long are you here? And I was like, I'm here for 2 weeks. And he said, okay, well, I hope you feel better before then because so you can enjoy your vacation. I did not. So literally talk about life doesn't go as planned. Here we've planned this beautiful Jamaican honeymoon, and I'm sick the entire honeymoon with a shitty cold, an ear infection, an eye infection, because then you can get like conjunctivitis. My sinuses are draining into my ears. I'm a mess this whole vacation. And I can't even go outside and tan and like sweat it out because it's raining every freaking day. I mean, talk about the world's most disappointing honeymoon ever. And talk about life not going as planned. Am I right? That was so painful. Oh, and the food. It was so disappointing. I mean, guys, it was just, it was one of the worst experiences. It just sucked. It just sucked so bad. The best thing, of course, was that here I am, I'm married now, and I'm with Ryan, and I'm looking at my wedding photos because my photographer gave me like a little sneak peek at some of the ones I could see. And my dog is getting better, and My sister is an angel and was like, I will watch your dogs. Like, I'm going to help. I'm going to make sure they're okay. And she's doing all the medicine with my dog Duke. And there's so many things that I knew I needed to be grateful for. But this whole trip just sucked. We could never do our little boat ride we wanted to do. I barely got any sun because there was maybe 1 hour that I could be outside without it raining. We only had like 2 good meals there because it was all buffet style and all the food was always sitting out. And I couldn't go when it was fresh because I was napping because I didn't feel good. I mean, it sucked. So we ended up canceling our trip. Actually, it was supposed to be 2 weeks. We only went for 1. And I came home and I was still sick. Like whatever virus I have no idea what it was. It lasted 3 weeks. 3 weeks long, and it sucked. I had to go on like steroids to knock that shit out. And guys, that was, I mean, you can even hear it, I think probably in the tone of my voice. It just sucked. So between losing podcast episodes, between my students loving to push my buttons, and I love my students to death, but it's, they do that. If you have kids, they do that. And having probably the world's most disappointing honeymoon, you learn that life doesn't always go as planned. So now that you got to hear all of the crazy things that have happened and things that I've gone through and all of the above, I'm going to help you. This is a learning podcast. You're not just going to sit here and listen to me rant. I'm going to teach you things. So I know that things are going to happen to you, whether they have or haven't. I find it hard to believe if they haven't, but there will be times that life doesn't go as planned. Maybe something didn't save. Maybe you sent the text to the wrong person. Maybe you bought the wrong gift. Maybe you did the wrong thing or showed up at the wrong time. Life doesn't always go as planned. And that's okay, whether it's your fault or it's not your fault. So we have to learn to be flexible. We have to learn to appreciate the moment and not get so stuck in it. So first thing that I want to say is tip number 1. Don't make life harder than it needs to be. And what I mean by that is things are probably already shitty, right? You are already dealing with something that's pissing you off, like my honeymoon, like me losing my podcast episode, like me having a bad day at work. It's already hard, so don't make it harder. Don't go looking for more things that are going to piss you off. Don't start bitching and complaining for hours on end. Just take a deep breath. And this leads me to number 2. Embrace the mantra. It is what it is. When you do that, you find that you let go of the burden that all of this is causing you, and you become more flexible. You go with the flow. You're understanding. And honestly, stressing about it is just such a waste of your energy. It's a waste of your anxiety. And there's no amount of over worrying and over analyzing everything that's going to make it come back and change, because we can't change the past. So number 2 is embrace the mantra. It is what it is. My third, though, is allow yourself to feel the emotions. Something that we really honor at work, and I've mentioned this on here a couple times, is at work, we really teach our students to communicate. We use this color system, blue, green, yellow, and red. And we'll tell the kids, like, if you can't identify the feeling, associate the feeling with a color. Like, they typically can say that blue is sad and green is happy and yellow is, it depends. Yellow could be exciting or it could be like frustrated, but then red is like angry and overwhelmed and, whatever it is. So we teach them to either say the feeling or to say the color and honor those feelings. I feel red because I lost my podcast episode. I feel blue because I planned this entire honeymoon with my husband and now I'm just waiting for the day to go home. When you are honest with yourself, with where you're at mentally, and you acknowledge that you are unwell, it's okay. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, we're not perfect and we will never be perfect. And to be a human is to live, and to live is to feel all the emotions. Know that your feelings are valid and that it's okay to feel them, and it does not make you weak because you're crying or because you're angry or because you're mad or because life didn't go your way. So, with that being said, feel what you need to feel and then move on. Life goes on. Here I am recording another episode because I lost one. And you know what? My friend and I are just going to record another one, or I'm going to find a way to get it back from Zoom. And if Zoom doesn't allow it to come back, you know what? Maybe it's meant to be, because maybe our second episode or the new one we record is going to be even better than the first one. We have to let it go. We can acknowledge that things suck and that things do not go our way. And honestly, I could go on with a list of so many things in my life that have happened that it's like, ugh, but why? Why would I do that? It's a waste of my energy. So don't make life any harder than it needs to be. Go with the flow. Say to yourself, it is what it is, and allow yourself those feelings. It's okay that I'm upset. It's okay that that pissed me off. But what you're going to tell yourself now is, what can I control? What can I control? So let's think about the podcast episode. I cannot control that I waited too long for the Zoom link to be deleted, and now I have to reach out and try to get it back. And if I can't, I have to re-record. Okay, I can't control that, but I can record another episode, another one that I am proud of, regardless of what happened to the previous one. And I can always do another one in the future too. About work. I can't control if my kids are having a bad day. That's not my fault. That's not their fault. Maybe it's something that happened in their environment, especially if they're nonverbal, or, limited verbal, whatever it is. Maybe they are having a hard time communicating their feelings. It could be the littlest thing. Like, guys, somebody could have sat in the blue spot and you like the blue spot, and that bitch sat in your spot. So now you're pissed off, and I'm just going to do all the things all day because nobody has acknowledged it. And I'm pissed. They're allowed to feel their feelings too. And honestly, this is a lesson that we all learn from so young, that life doesn't go as planned. Maybe your mom packed you the lunch you didn't want to have. Maybe your homework was harder than you thought it would be. Maybe yesterday you were doing phenomenal in math, but today it's hard as shit. Why the hell did they change the curriculum? They're allowed to feel those feelings too. So they were having a day. All of them were having a day. All of them were having a day, guys. It's okay. Because I was having a day too. But we're moving on. It is what it is. We're moving on. I can't control their emotions. Only they can. And that's hard for them, especially since I'm working with elementary schoolers. And I am allowed to say that that sucked. That today was hard and it made me tired. But what I can control is coming home, taking care of myself, knowing that I did my best to make sure that they were taken care of and they were loved. And now I'm going to pour that energy into myself and into my family here in my house. And with the honeymoon, with the honeymoon. Honestly, all I can do is laugh at that. We are doing like a little mini redo next week, and I'm so excited for that. But you know what? Life doesn't always go as planned. Even though Ryan and I had the best of intentions with that honeymoon, we booked a place we had never been. We had all the things set up, the perfect room, the perfect package, the fun activities to do. Life doesn't always go as planned, and it is what it is. Yes, I was so angry that I was sick and that the travel day was so long and that it felt like nobody could help me and nobody was listening to me, and that I spent the entire first day feeling like just so sick and tired and unwell, and now stressed and unhappy and worried for the rest of the trip. That is okay. It is okay that I felt those things. I think anybody would feel like that if that was their first entrance into their honeymoon, and then to have the rest of it not be what you thought. You're still sick and the weather's not good and you can't do the fun things and the food's not even that great, because maybe it was great, but the only thing you can taste is the Dayquil in your mouth. I mean, it happens. But it is what it is. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to overstress and make things harder than it needs to be. I'm going to just take a deep breath. I'm going to be excited for our redo. I mean, the fact that we even get a redo, I am so, so, so thankful for. Shout out to Expedia for giving us our points back for the days that we couldn't do. And I'm going to move on. And what I can control is just being thankful that I was with Ryan the whole time, that he was there to support me, and that I am healthy and that I am okay now, and that it really wasn't the end of the world. It just sucked. That's why I don't want to say it was the worst day ever, but it just sucked. It was just so disappointing. And it's okay to acknowledge that, because those feelings are valid. But now I have to move on. That was about maybe even more than 6 months ago now. So it's time to move on. It's time to look forward to a new trip. And it's time to say it is what it is. There was nothing I could do to change it. And now I'm going to redirect my energy on something new. And that is really what I want you guys to take away from this. I want you to take away that no matter what happens, whether it is a trip that feels like it was completely ruined, or if it's just the tiniest thing like a rough day at work or a deleted something, or even just a miscommunication. Maybe you said something you didn't mean to say and the other person took it the wrong way. Whatever it is, life doesn't always go as planned. And that's okay, because it is what it is. You are strong. You are worthy. You are deserving, and you will move on from this. See what you can learn from it and apply it to the next time. We will always make mistakes, and we will always have things that happen and get in the way. But if we choose to dwell and suck them in and only ever believe that part and never focus on the positive, we will be stuck. And we will always have that mindset. We need to open up our minds, allow mistakes to happen, allow for things to be messed up and to get messed up, and move on. Do it again. It's okay. And we need to, again, like I said at the beginning of the episode, I'm going to say it again. Be proud. Be proud that instead of quitting, we showed up again. I could have just said screw it and not post an episode this week, but I refuse to do that because this podcast is important to me. You guys are important to me. So here I am recording an episode at 9:00 at night before Friday, because I realize that this is important to me just as much as it's important to you. So don't give up. Remember that you got this no matter what mistakes you make. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, you guys. I love you all so much. I hope you have a great, great, great day ahead of you. And I just want you to know that you got this. And I can't wait to talk to you next time.